Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some of you, and peace out to the rest of you. Black heart, black mind, black end. Again, hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. Now, this is more on the extremes and the middle in between. And I'm going to try to get a little bit more in depth this time because I'm in a quieter place and I hope that my voice comes through clearly. We're going to get into a debate soon about whether Chadwick Boseman died naturally or whether he was poisoned. And I'm going to give y'all some facts that can support either one. That can support either theory, but they don't prove either one. Number one, Bob Marley apparently died of cancer that developed, I think, in the foot or through the foot, but someone later on said, yeah, we did kill him. I don't know how true the person was. I don't remember the name of the supposed confessed assassin, but apparently somebody gave an interview and said, yeah, we did it. And when he put his shoe on and said, ouch, we knew that we had him. Okay, so that could go either way. Also, colorectal cancer is in fact beginning to affect many younger men. So, and his own people that were entrusted with the secret of his cancer diagnosis said that he had been fighting cancer since 2016. So he was filming Black Panther while having surgeries and chemotherapy. And other movies after that. Stop and think about that. There's no evidence that they're lying about the cancer. By the same token, was there a political motive to go after someone like him? Certainly, sure. Yeah, of course. Also understand that if there's ever to develop a real life Black Panther, they're going to go after him too. Keep in mind that the FBI was largely begun to go after Marcus Garvey. I don't remember if they started the FBI after him or right before him or during his time. But anyway, do people go after those of us that do well for us and mean well for us? Absolutely they do. And then they declassify the records later and you can prove it. By the same token, can we die of natural causes? Absolutely we can. But we're about to get into a debate with two extremes again because we are illiterate. And I don't just mean in the way that we spell and punctuate, or rather don't spell and punctuate, but because in the way that we treat information in general. We take memes. And I've done this too, mistakenly, but I've done it. We all have. We take memes that are not true and we hit the share button. Facts, facts, facts. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. One example is that a bunch of kids, 39 of them, were rescued by U.S. Marshals, but they were not found in a double-wide trailer. They were rescued, but not all in one place. Don't get it twisted. A lot of us are just now finding this out. I just now found this out. But what we're going to have to do is take an approach in which we admit that a theory is a theory when we don't have proof. We say to each other, I suspect, I theorize, I don't have proof. So I understand why someone else would feel differently or think differently or theorize differently. Now that's a respectful way to put an idea out there without trying to force a theory as a fact on other people. We Black folk have not mastered that balance yet. And that's going to be the death of us if we're not careful. And this is really the root of us not being able to cooperate with each other in many cases. Now, there are some theories I actually do openly disrespect. Like the theory that we Black folks don't come from Africa, those of us that are in the Americas. Man, fit the guck out my face with that sure bit. But why do I disregard that? Well, that's because there's evidence that we actually do. Damn near proof. The DNA. And I knew one guy that said DNA is not real. They sent off a dog's DNA and it came back 43% Native American. Okay, yeah, you don't believe in DNA, but see, this guy that sent me that link also turned around and told me that his DNA linked him to some families in the Middle East here. So he was ready to reach out to that family that was most closely related to him genetically due to a DNA test. But when I told him he was from Africa and this DNA too, he was like, no, I'm not. Okay, you see where I'm going with this? So I openly disrespected that, but that's because there's evidence to disrespect it, to warrant the disrespect. And he doesn't treat it like a theory. He treats it as facts, facts, facts. So that's why I'm disrespectful. Without the evidence, I would not be. We are going down this path again. Every time something in the news happens, we go down this path. We take a theory. You cannot prove it or disprove it. We turn around and we want to beat everybody else over the head with that theory without proof or disproof. This is what you do. When you theorize, you're not wrong for that. You develop an opinion, and if you're theorizing it without proof, you just simply admit to yourself and then to others, it's a theory. I don't have proof nor disproof of it yet, so it's just a theory, and I'm being honest about it. Then there's no need to argue. And in this way, everybody can actually learn from each other's theories so that we can be prepared for the event that any one of them turns out to be the case. Equally prepared. Now, why do we debate about Chadwick Boseman's death already? It's simple, because if we are going to create something like this that's going to have a psychological impact on our children, we want to know, is the government going to come after us, or are we going to die of natural causes? Well, nobody knows how they're going to die anyway. However, I do want to point out that it is okay to be equally prepared for either one. That's fine. In actuality, my suspicion years ago was that they were going to go after Chadwick, the director, Ryan Coogler, and other actors, and frame them for things they did not do so as to discredit them and maybe even imprison them, like what they did with Cosby. That's what I suspected would happen. Because they don't always want to martyr you. A lot of times they simply want to discredit you, like with Cosby. That's what I see going on. That's what I expected to happen. Now, this being said, Black Panther was and is a fictitious character. Wakanda is fictitious. We have taken these fictitious these fictitious characters and places as symbols for what we want to do and become, and that's perfectly okay as long as we're honest with ourselves about that. When we say Wakanda, we know that's not real. It's something. It's a goal, and it's okay to admit we're using that as the name of a goal. Okay, fine. King T'Challa, okay, we admit that's not a real person. We're simply using that as a symbol for those who fit that same narrative. Fine. That's okay, if we're honest with ourselves about what we mean. Therein lies the middle ground. We're going to be arguing again over whether or not we are holding each other back or we're facing outside interference. That's not an either or argument, dumb nigga. It's both. If I was responsible for oppressing black people and I took my job seriously, I say if. Don't go around saying, oh, he said he's responsible for it, he takes it seriously. I said if. If I was the one in charge of oppressing black people and I took my job seriously, I would simply do 3 things. I would limit outside interference to that which is absolutely necessary. I would set up internal interference and setbacks. When they are developed and the ball is rolling, I would sit back and rest and not spend money and resources and time on initiating or keeping up and maintaining the outside interference. When the people recover and start to unite and cooperate again, I would then, as much as is necessary, reinstate the outside interference while using that to create internal interference so that we could sit back again. Then this way, most of the interference would again be internal. That's how I would do it. Why do we not think that maybe that is the 2-pronged approach that our oppressors have taken? What's with this either or stuff? We don't do very well with 2-pronged approaches, things that are a mix of 2 things. We argue, is the road to my right or to my left, and we're standing in the middle of it. That's how we are. So all they got to do is take a complex approach that's neither completely one or the other, and we'll argue about it, and it works. Now, with Arabs, it's a little different. Gulf Arabs, at least. I can ask them an either or question. You know what they'll do? They'll look me in the face and go, yes. Wait, I asked an either or question. Is he from tribe X or from tribe Y? Yes. See, you're stupid. I have to tell them this. You know what happens? This is actually, now that's actually a sign of a very low IQ. Obviously, right? All you got to do is make a high IQ a prerequisite for things that would benefit them in life. And all of a sudden they can't benefit without somebody else just handing it to them. And that's what's happened. So that being said, I wanted to point this out for our benefit. I hope this helps again. Maybe one day this won't be necessary, but in the meantime, may it help you. Thanks for listening. Black heart, black mind, blackout, assalamu alaikum. And black intellectual male power just because they don't like it.